I'm going to show you these beautiful pictures that were from a calendar that I had. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to play something about a trip to under the Vatican.
You go down this elevator.
Yes.
You're on an invited mission to try to figure out what the heck this tetrahedron thing is.
Right.
So what do you see? Let's first just tell me what the elevator looked like. Anything unusual about the elevator?
No, it was a very large elevator, larger than normal. You could fit a car in it.
Oh, wow.
Normal elevator, very clean.
Okay. Round, square?
No, square.
Okay.
Yeah, rectangular, yeah.
So the doors open, and what do you see?
We walk in. The floor was white, walls were white. It was like a black rail. And
A black rail where?
there's just like a black rail around the inside of the, like a rail you could hold on to.
Okay. On
Yeah.
the walls?
Yeah, on the walls, about 3 feet up.
Okay.
And there was no windows, no glass, nothing like that. It was a normal elevator. It was very silent. I didn't know it actually started moving.
Oh.
It was like the most quietest elevator I've ever. You know, usually feel the little bounce.
Right.
There was no bounce. It was like we were sitting there actually just talking whenever we got everyone. And when the doors shut, I was like, "Is someone like gonna push a button or something?" Like I get antsy, you know, like.
Right.
And then I was like, and all of a sudden, like in a minute, like the doors open. I was like, what Vatican elevator's broken?
Are you
like,
wearing some kind of uniform or civvies at this point, or what?
I'm wearing civvies, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the civvies. Yeah, nothing special.
So you go in after the doors open.
Right.
And what do you see?
First thing I see is a giant auditorium type area. It reminded me, and I don't like referring to movies, but in Harry Potter's Hogwarts, I think it was like the vault system with all the little trolls where you look up and you see all these square vaults, you know, but it was very rustic. This was spotless, clean. It was beautiful glass everywhere. It was just like
Oh my God.
these huge cubicles of glass, and some were different sizes. So it was really neat. And through these cubicles of glass were all these metal strips and lines. And then there were these platforms about 6 feet in diameter that could travel, you know, to any of these things. And there was no jerky movements to them. They just kind of flowed and then could turn, and but
wow.
only on angles. You know, they didn't do like circles or anything to whatever. And there was many people on these things doing things with the vaults and looking through them and doing things. But I didn't get to go. I was only on the first floor.
So this is kind of different. This is why I wanted you to say this, and why I wanted to do this right now. Is Vatican Library? You think it's like stacks of books and bookshelves?
Well,
this is very different.
Well, we're getting to that.
Okay.
Because we had to walk through this area to get to that that other stuff you see in the movies of, you know, books everywhere and
But
things
what you're
like
describing
that.
right now is like straight out of a sci-fi movie. It must have been just breathtakingly incredible.
It was the most amazing thing, one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, because the glass too, I was like, this is, you know, they keep all this cool equipment behind this glass. I'm thinking that's ridiculous. Glass can break, and earthquakes and, you know, whatever, explosions. And he's like, oh no, that's not glass, that's metal. That's a type of metal.
Wow. Like
the
transparent
head director,
aluminum, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it was like well, he said he just said it was a metal, it's not glass. That's
Okay.
what he said. That's all he said. He didn't give specifics, and I wasn't there to learn about the glass, even though I wanted to know.
So what was behind the glass? Let's just be clear on
Many
that.
different things. I mean, there was equipment back there that I've never seen before. Some things look like weapons, something look like scrolls, but on big plaques of like kind of like look like plexiglass, like stacks of them, and they all had their own thing. There's no labeling on the outside of these doors, so you know.
Wow.
None. No numbers, no symbols. It's just a gigantic, like 6 floors of these cubicles.
Jeez.
Unreal. I mean, and like I said, cubicles there too were as small as like a foot, and some were as big as like 20 feet.
Was the thing like a hexagon or like a square?
It was all square.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
It was all square.
Wow.
Yeah. So as we were walking, I did notice some equipment that looked like giant, those drogies, you know, those ancient brass things that we used to hold up.
Tibet.
Yeah, in Tibet. I noticed like they were in the shape of that, but they were solid and they were luminous.
Wow.
And there was no electrical cords going to it at all.
I've
Yeah.
always thought that the double door J thing is some kind of technology that they just emulated with these little sculptures they have.
Right, but
Made
this
it in-
was like a really cool, artistic, modern, ultra modern version.
Wow.
It was really neat with really cool edges on it, and
Wow.
and it glue. It was glowing, and there was no like electrical cords in there or sockets. It was just there.
Wow.
So, and you have to understand, I wasn't there for that, so I can't stop. This is not like, you know, walking through the Louvre, of course.
Yeah.
We're on a mission, and you just keep your mouth shut, and we go where we're going to go, which we wanted to go to the archives to find out about this, you know, this device, or this ship, this craft with this light.
So what happened after you got through this majestic crystalline auditorium?
After we got through that, there was another double doors at the bottom, and they just slid open.
Like
side
glass
by-
doors or
Glass doors, and they just slid open, just like
any
separated.
noise?
No noise at all.
Wow.
It was very quiet in there. No echoing either, which was weird for me, because I thought even like the voice would echo in this room.
And when you saw the people on those moving platforms,
Yes.
what were they wearing?
They were all in white, like those, you know, the surgical suits that are made of that fabric.
Oh.
And they had also on their heads the normal white caps. Yeah, they were in the clean. They're in a clean suit.
Clean room.
Right,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like surgically clean. I think that whatever they were doing, they were all holding something and looking at something and looking into the glass.
Wow.
So I don't know what they were doing at all. I have no clue.
And do you think that there was anything beyond the first layer of these cages? Like, was there deeper layers beyond one layer, or was it just all on the surface?
On the first floor where I was, I could not. I mean, it just ended. You know, some were 10 feet deep, some were 30 feet deep. You know, depending. Like I said, some were like small, like 12-inch cubes, and some were enormous. Like we walked by one that was at least 20 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it was amazing.
So what happens after these quiet doors open up? Where do you go next?
So now we're in like the main library, I believe, and there's these giant cylindrical gas-controlled tubes that are probably anywhere from 6 to 3 feet in diameter, and there's hundreds of them that go up very, very high.
You said 6 to 3 feet in diameter?
Yeah, 6 to 3 feet in diameter, glass or whatever, metal glass or whatever they call it.
Okay.
And there's windows on them that kind of open up, and it goes up and down, and they have a thing that they hold, and they can like scroll up, and then all those books go down, like they're all on shelves, all these books, okay, and all these tablets, and they go up and down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, up and down inside these cylindrical columns, which I heard were vacuumed and gas controlled to keep them, you know, from getting old.
Wow.
And so they took us to this place and went to this one column, and he just brought it right up, all these different books about, you know, this particular craft, and we were able to get all that information.
What did the books look like, and how old were they?
Well, it looks like these books were actually translated from another book that someone wrote, because they said a lot of this is all translated, so it was all perfectly written and typed, like very new stuff, just like today, like nothing fancy at all, to be honest.
Okay.
It, you know, it was in binders and, you know, folders and whatnot, so it wasn't fancy or futuristic. It was just a huge database. But in many columns I looked at were very old things, like very leather-looking books, and I noticed one had blocks in it. I thought they were blocks, but they were tablets with information on them.
Did any of the leather books have like a color cover, like a bright color?
Yes, I did see one that had many, like one of the columns had many colors in it, and many sizes too. Like I saw one shelf had 6-foot books. Yeah, it looked like books. I mean, it was far away, maybe 30 feet away.
Well, when Peterson described his trip into the Vatican, he said that a lot of the books were leather bound and that they had buckles on them.
Yes.
And that they were like bright colors, like a bright red, bright green.
Yes,
Like
yes, I saw that, and it was very thick.
Wow.
The leather was very thick, and they did have metal on them. I've seen a lot of that just walking to where we had to go.
So, did you guys get to take the book and bring it to a reading area, like a table or something?
Yeah, no, he pulled it out, and there's like tables everywhere, like that are off the ground on pedestals, and he just laid it out on this like 6-foot glass pedestal or whatever it was, glass or not glass. I'll just call it metal glass. And he opened it up, and he is the one who shows us. We can't touch it, actually. Oh. So he shows like da-da-da-da-da, and there was also a translator that was there because the English was not that good. And there was 2 other of their technicians there that like keep like library, bookkeepers, So that was really interesting. Librarians, So the next thing that happened is they opened it up, and he just started scrolling through, and we were looking at it. I was looking at it with the 2 scientists, and this is what we wanted. It was like exactly what. So then we asked him if he had anything else that was similar to this, and he did. So he took us to another area and showed us another book, and they actually had sketches of the same exact thing.
Wow.
That was like ancient. Really? I mean, I don't know how old it was, but it was pretty old because it wasn't written on paper. This giant sketch scroll that some monk had drawn, and it had a lot of physics on it, and it was all in a different language. So we were able to get a picture of that downloaded, and we got a copy of that book, and we escorted that back to home.
Did you get a sense from just what was spoken out loud or translated as to what this thing was or where it had come from? Anything that specific?
No, because once I got back, I was pulled off of that project. All I can tell you is it was, I believe, an intentional device that was, put here to help, and then that was it. I never had part of that project again.
When it was in this foreign language, and you said it wasn't really like a book, what was it on? What did it look like?
It looked like wax paper. Yeah, and it looked like it was black wax paper, and you could I think you could maybe as you wrote on it, whatever that stuff was would peel off, so you could write on it. It was it looked like something like that.
Wow.
But I wasn't able to touch it at all. But it was the exact same device. I mean, the exact same craft. But it was a lot larger in form. It was probably 10 times larger from this person's. Whoever sketched this, it was 10 times larger than the one we had.
So, how do you think that idea that we discussed about people starting to be trained as disclosure happens, how do you see that unfolding?
Well, the first thing that's going to happen is, everyone's going to want to know where to go. Where I want to be this person. I want to help. I want to know how to grow something overnight, a tomato. I want to know about anti-gravity, how I can make my car, float. So people are going to want to know right away, and it's going to be up to the government what kind of information is going to be released to the universities and public, because they're going to do it correctly. They're going to do it through probably universities first,
right?
And hopefully a lot of the other scientists that are out there will pick up on what they're doing, and then they'll be able to live stream it, and have a source way to get it to the public where other people can just start thinking about it. Because you have to free source everything in order to stimulate the entire planet into wanting to do something, instead of holding it in universities and saying, well, you have to learn this first, and da-da-da-da. But I think the education part will also be a lot easier in learning this stuff, because with the advent of all these new technologies coming out, also comes out technologies how to learn faster, how to take care of yourself better. A lot of these things, our daily things that we do, are going to be much simpler.
Very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Emery, for being here, and I want to thank you for watching. This is Cosmic Disclosure. I'm your host, David Wilcock, with our special guest, Emery Smith.
So I thought I would try that without the